When will Malad not be safe to walk around unarmed? It's an interesting question. So when I was a kid, in a bit of youthful naivety, I said to my mom, I think it would be really fun if I took a gun and walked around town. And I really don't know what was going through my mind other than guns are cool and walk around town would be cool if I had a gun. And my mom, in her infinite wisdom, didn't yell at me, didn't say that was a stupid idea. She just asked, well, why? And I thought about it and I'm like, well, I don't know. I think it would just be fun. And then her response was something along the lines of, I can't remember exactly because I was like maybe 10 at the time. Her response was, well, if you're going to take the gun to town, usually people think you're going to use a gun if you have it. What would people think if you had the gun? Would it scare them? And I may be way wrong on what she said because, again, it was long ago. I just remembered that she dissuaded me from taking the gun to town in a very kind way, without yelling at me at all. But that was then, and now we have estimates between 15 and 30 illegal immigrants in the nation, many of whom are drug dealers, gang members, murderers, rapists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, from third world countries because they've been emptying out their prisons and sending them to us because we have a very porous southern and northern border, for that matter. Case in point, breaking. An armed gang of illegal immigrants from Venezuela has reportedly taken full control of an apartment complex in parts of the town of Aurora. Now, Aurora is 336 or 386,000 people. So a fairly large amount of people, a lot bigger than Malad. New footage from Vicente, don't know how to say it, Vicente Arenas, reveals an armed gang at a complex in Aurora, Colorado. Aurora officials have been investigating the Tren de Aguera gang, a Venezuelan group involved in human smuggling, violence, money laundering, and drug trafficking across the U.S., including at the Nome Street apartment complex in Aurora. While local reports claim the complex is shutting down due to code violations, many believe this is just cover for a larger issue. We're not buying it. We believe there are code violations, but this all started with a gang takeover, said Aurora City Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky. Crime at the complex has surged, with incidents spiraling out of control. A huge pile of trash has accumulated at the apartment complex, which was also the scene of a violent shooting over the weekend. Residents report that a large number of migrants moved in 6 or 7 months ago, and management has since refused to improve living conditions. And if I was management and a bunch of gang members moved into my complex, I'd be afraid to go and improve living conditions. I would just let it fail if I was the management. And then when it got condemned and they all moved out, then I could go back in with a cleaning crew, clean it back up, and put in people that were not gang members. I think that would be a good idea. So here's a video. Those didn't look like just teenage boys out for a hunting.
Nigga, the Venezuelans is taking over. They just jacked them? Oh, me. These niggas is out here tripping. Bro, damn, they done made a mess of shit.
Nigga, y'all are on bullshit out here. That is on bullshit.
So I'm not making this video to scare anyone, but I think we do all need to be aware that things like this are happening in our once, for the most part, safe country. I'm assuming that the people of Aurora, Colorado, weren't really prepared for a gang to move into their city and start causing issues. Are we prepared for a gang to move into our town and start issues? If a large group of violent young men came into the town, what would we do? Would the sheriff's department be able to take care of it by themselves? I don't think so. 30 to 50 gang members versus, what is it, 6 deputies now? Would the gang members have assault weapons? I hate the term assault weapons. Would the gang members all have automatic weapons, AR style weapons, things like that, ready for a fight? And our sheriff's deputies, when they rolled in, would they just get mowed down and then all of a sudden we have no one to protect us? Or do we need to worry about a little bit more about protecting ourselves? It's not very common nowadays for people to have a sidearm on them. Now, every once in a while you do see it, but for the most part you only see that with police or sheriff. Maybe we should change that. Maybe we should actually start having sidearms on ourselves in case something like this happens in Malad, because I don't want there to be massive amounts of violence. I would prefer that a gang rolled into town, saw that everybody was packing heat, and they left and not a shot was fired. What I would really prefer is that we go back to the way it was when I was a kid. We didn't have a ton of gang members roaming the streets of our cities, and we could live in a state of not bliss, but comparative safety, where we didn't feel like we needed to be armed. Right now, I'm leaning towards we need to be armed. And that's something that we probably should start communicating with each other about. Because if one person does it in town, they'll be the weirdo. But if everybody does it in town, or if the majority start wearing protection of some sort, then all of a sudden it'll be normal. Everybody will feel safe. And if, hopefully it never happens, but if a gang comes to town and sees that everybody's protected, they won't want to stop, because gangs choose soft targets. Just like criminals, they choose soft targets. They don't want to get hurt, so they will move on to the next town that is not protected. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. Hopefully this is never something that Malad will ever have to deal with, but it might. And I don't want the little old ladies in this town harmed. I don't want the children in this town harmed. I want to make sure that everyone is protected. Anyway, what do you think? Please comment down below. Tell me if I'm being overly cautious or overly concerned about something. Will Malad just be protected because we're all nice people? Or do we need to worry about it a little bit more? Do we need to be prepared? Because if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. Anyway, yeah, like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks.